And like I've known you for what, a long time now.
I think it's been like
10
almost 10
more than
years.
10 years now? Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
enough that I'm like I feel extremely comfortable with you. So,
Right. Samesies. Samesies.
like whatever you need, I'm like, okay, sure. Whatever you need.
Same. Right back at you. I'll fly to Texas. I don't have any
I'm like,
qualms
you can
about
have
that.
my kidney. It's fine.
Yeah. Right. Same. Right back. Do you need a liver? I don't know if I need
Yeah.
that, but you can have
I
it.
think we do. I think we need that. But I think the kidneys, I think we can like give one away.
The kidneys are all right to give. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. Yeah, fly
Uh,
to Texas anytime.
yes. Oh my gosh. I would love to.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, welcome back to Style to Set. I am so pleased and so excited and happy you're here. And I don't even know how to fully describe the honor and excitement I feel about having Loren on today because she is truly, when I go down my list of creative females I know, I was actually thinking about you, Loren, and I was trying to think of a way to describe you. And you know how when you put a diamond in the light and you turn it all different ways, the light shines through it and it creates all different colors and patterns on the wall, depending on how you turn it.
Hmm.
That's Loren. Loren is a gem. She
Oh,
is
that's
like a
beautiful.
creative gem and she can do so many different things. And I don't typically do this. I don't typically read someone's bio word for word, but I want to read it really quickly, you guys, because I want you to have context for Loren because she does so many things that the way she wrote it is so beautiful. So I'm going to read this really quick. Okay. Loren is a designer and creative based in New Braunfels, Texas, but her journey began in the fast paced world of New York City fashion and celebrity styling. With over 20 years of experience across fashion, branding, and design, she has shaped identities for high profile clients, luxury interior firms, and major players in the fashion industry. Her work has always centered around storytelling, which I cannot wait to talk to you about, Loren. Whether through an editorial look, a beautifully crafted, curated space, or a brand identity that feels like an extension of the person behind it. So, with that being said, Loren, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited about
Woo.
this for you.
Oh,
I'm
girl.
so
Well,
excited.
and our beautiful logo that you see down at the bottom of this podcast, anything beautiful artwork has been created by Loren. Loren was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I help you?" And I said 100%, 1000% yes, please.
Listen, listen. I can't help it. That's just what you do. Also, like you
Oh,
saved me. I can't tell you
oh.
like you did. Like when I lived in Nashville and I didn't have jobs and I didn't know what I was doing,
Mm,
like you recommended me to everyone. You got me jobs, you got me gigs. I mean, you did. Like you like I like half of my income when I lived there came from you. So that was, I mean, you literally were like such a godsend. I was like, wow.
oh,
Like I don't even need to look for jobs. Callie's just promoting me all over town. So,
oh, gosh. Well, I like Lauren, and to be completely clear, honest, Lauren and I have been friends for over 10 years. And when I first met Lauren, as I started to get to know her, I was so struck by her gifts, but also her humility and her calm. And something we've talked about on the pod is this beautiful ability. I feel like the most talented creative people I know also have this wonderful calmness about them. And they don't have to be the loudest person on set.
interesting.
They can also be
Yeah.
really calm. And
Hmm.
Lauren brought that to me and I'm drawn to that like a moth to a flame because inside sometimes I can be like frenetic Enneagram 7. And she
Yeah.
was like, peace. And so I was so drawn to you from the beginning in that way.
That's so funny. I have to say, like, it is weird. It is a weird thing. Like and I
Mhm,
can't say that like I can't say that it's like that all the time in my personal life sometimes,
mhm,
but professionally, everything's gonna be okay. And
mhm,
I think that comes from it comes from having a background in the fashion world and
mhm,
like in I worked in places that were so high intensity that
mhm,
I think at some point you just kind of realize nothing is the end of the world.
mhm,
Everything's fixable. You can go back, you can do something over again. Like it really is going to be okay. And I
mhm,
think when you realize that like not everything's going to fall apart,
mhm.
you can just stay in that calm place more, especially in your work. And it doesn't do anyone good. It doesn't do you good. It doesn't do anyone around you good. I think the more calm you can be on set or anywhere in work, like at all, that's an important thing to try to hone in on. And I know that's hard sometimes.
Mhm.
And I also would say if you can't get that to that place,
Mhm.
typically maybe you shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like not in the fact that work with people who don't make you feel that way.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
can,
Mhm.
like that environment and energy around you is really important. And it's just not fun to work when people are stressing you out, in my opinion. So if you can be that person, I do think people feel that and match you with that same kind of level of calm, if you can do that.
Oh, Lauren, I
But
love that. Okay, tell me more about that. Okay, I have 2 questions.
mhm,
One is, tell me about how you curate that client list that matches what you bring to the table. Like you were saying, if you can be that person, you're probably going to attract those people, those clients that you want to work
yeah.
with. Tell me about how you've developed that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's tough because I can't say it's like a specific formula necessarily,
Mhm.
but I do think like overall most of us attract people who we kind of get along with or jive, or I've had clients that we just don't jive. I mean, you still get the work done and you do it, but it's just
Mhm.
not as enjoyable. It's not ideal. I've had a client before where I was like, this is just like really hard. And then there's moments where it's not that hard. But I think it has more to do with personality than anything, who you get along with.
Mhm.
I just feel like certain people I hit it off with, and I know I'm going to work well with this person. And it's just this innate feeling you just know, like,
Mhm.
oh, we're just going to hit it off.
Mhm.
I think it's just about the personality, though, just talking to people, getting to know them. I think really easily you find out what that red flag is as well with people. And I think that just takes practice
Mhm.
and working with different people to understand, oh, that that's something that I've seen before and I didn't really get along with that. So when you see that in someone else in the future, you're like, I'm going to be cautious, or maybe I don't want to take that job because I know. So I think you get to that point where you just kind of like it, and also it's not worth it. I never think it's worth it. It's just not worth it working with people you don't like. So,
Have you, okay, here's a question for you, because this has happened to me. Have you
yeah.
ever had a client when you first meet them? And let me give context to the word client, because I realize there are people listening to the podcast today that may not be familiar with some of these terms that we're throwing around. And I always want to try and be mindful of welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And let's explain some of these things. So when I say client, those are the people that hire Lauren or I to do creative work. So for me, it could be a food brand, it could be a marketing agency, it could be a photographer. For Lauren, she does photography, styling, art direction, branding, graphic design. So she does, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So her clients could be the same, like photographers, brands, jewelry companies, it could be all across the board. So clients are the people, essentially in a nutshell, who are paying us to be creative and to produce what they're looking for. So Lauren, have you ever had a client where at first you were like, "Ooh, this is not going well," but then you either unlock something in them, you ask the right question, and it's like they turn around? Have you ever had that before where then it's, "Okay, now we're getting along?"
Um, Maybe like once.
Yeah. So
I'm
it's
like,
more
maybe
rare,
once.
it's more rare to happen. Yeah.
It's really rare. I really don't have a lot of clients that I have a problem with, but I
Yeah.
can see that happening a lot more,
Mhm.
especially with bigger brands. I feel
Mhm.
like that makes sense because a lot of times you're not just working with one client, you're working with like a team of people. And so you're getting a
Mhm.
variety of personalities.
Mhm.
And it has happened a couple times to me for sure, but it's very rare. Usually they're either exactly how they seem to be at the beginning or they're occasionally it changes, but I would say for the most part, for me, it's been very consistent.
And I
But
love that. I love that because I feel like if you go on Lauren's site, which I would definitely, tag in the show notes below, she is so gifted at bringing brands to life and bringing vibrancy and bringing color and pattern and beauty to these beautiful projects. And then I feel like on the food end with me, there is an element to what I have really learned to hone in on is if I'm feeling that really immediate friction with a client that I thought we'd really get along well, there's a
yeah,
question that I'm learning to ask, and actually something we talked about at my church recently, we're talking about conflict, is when somebody says something to me, I will say, "I'm wondering if you mean this," or Could you tell me more about this? And that's not something I'm naturally good at. I tend to want to just jump to
Yeah.
getting it done. But I
That's really
found
good though.
I think if there's some
Yeah.
friction, those are two questions that I'm learning to like engage more.
I like that.
And
That's
sometimes
really
that
good.
can help.
That's
Okay.
a good note for me because
Oh,
one day it's gonna approach, one day it's gonna happen, and I'm be like, I'm gonna remember what Callie said.
oh yeah. Sometimes those longest do help. But going back to what we were first talking about, tell me about how, because I feel like working in New York, fashion was is so important. It was like such a foundation for you as a creative. Tell me more about
Yeah.
your beginnings there and how it
Oh,
sort of informs like what you do now.
well, I always wanted to live there, so I was like, I want the whole experience.
Mm.
It was, it was definitely like a leap of faith. I was like, I'm just gonna go do this. So I mean, I slept on people's couches for 3 months looking for jobs. I had friends that lived there already, which was great, and I did photo shoots with them. Like I had a guy friend who would hire me for photo shoots and styling and stuff like that. And I would get paid. It's so funny now because like I would get paid, I mean, absolutely nothing, and I would be like, yes. It was just like, it was such a learning experience. Like, I was young, I was 22, fresh out of college, ready to go. So, I don't know, you have that energy and you're just like ready to hustle every single day. And so that was kind of what it was like. It was just a lot of hustling. And I was young, I had the energy, I didn't need to sleep as much. Like, it was great. It was a good time. And it was really hard, but it was really fun. I got a job with, I had a really fabulous internship with Ralph Lauren, and it was a paid internship, and it was the first year they ever had a paid internship, and I was like, yes, provision. Anyways, and so yeah, I spent some time doing that. I was in their denim design development department, and it was great, and there were so many great people there, and it just kind of gave me a taste for what that kind of was like. They're a little bit more traditional, a traditional fashion experience in New York. And then I ended up working for one of the other brands under Ralph Lauren. And I actually worked on the merch team for one of their, oh gosh, what is their name now? This is so bad. It's like I can't
Oh
remember
no.
things anymore.
Hey, oh
Oh
cool. Was it
no.
for Ralph Lauren? Was it merch for Ralph
Yeah,
Lauren?
but it was
One
like
of their brands?
it
Okay.
was like a big brand.
Okay.
And I can't think of the name of it right now. That's
Okay,
terrible.
we'll go back and find it and put it in the show notes.
Okay.
So when you were at Ralph Lauren and you were an intern, they really let you jump in then. I guess like what were you doing as an intern there to really
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of an interesting role. I ran a lot of errands for them, obviously.
Mhm.
I would like help beat up denim. I would go to like denim archives.
You
I'd
would beat
drop
up
off
denim,
denim
like
like,
literally hit it?
oh yeah, they were like developing techniques for denim. So I learned a ton about jeans, and they had a
Oh,
huge denim
cool.
department. Yeah, and they had like vintage closets full of denim that's probably 100 years old. It was wild.
What?
And then I would go to the factories out in New Jersey, and we
Mhm.
would drop off things to get dyed and like all this stuff. So I basically ran a bunch of errands, was like kind of assisted everyone that was like a designer in that space. And
Mhm.
then I worked on projects and things like that, mainly branding stuff, like marketing stuff, kind of. Um, and yeah, it was just like, it was definitely a great experience. I mean, I think the coolest part was working at the headquarters. And mainly because it's such a cool building. Like, it's so
Yeah.
cool. I mean, Ralph Lauren has an actual full on barbershop on one of the
What?
floors.
Like
I
cuts
mean, no,
hair?
it's, oh yeah, he has his own barber there.
What?
Yeah, and the whole living room, like the two stores, it looked like you were in a home. It looked like you were in a huge hunting lodge. Like it was wild. It was really cool, actually. It was really, really cool. But yeah, so I did a bunch with them, and it was just a fun experience, like getting into a world of really fashion and how that worked behind the scenes. And I had other friends that I knew that were on other floors doing design and things like
That's
that.
so
So
cool.
it was just like we were all in the same building, and it was girls I'd gone to college with. And so it was fun, and I made lifelong friends there. But yeah, I did that, and then I did for one of their other brands, I did merch for their headquarters. And
Mhm.
so it was really detailed work. Like we were
Mhm.
turning over retail spaces, constantly making sure the floors always looked really good. All the sets, decor, everything was like, at the
Mhm.
beginning of the day, the end of the day, like everything had to be perfectly lined up and folded and all that. And
Mhm.
then we would photograph everything and send it out to all their other stores so that their stores would basically copy how we merchandise the entire store. So it was for them, it was a big store because when it's the main store like that,
Mhm.
like all the direction for every other retail store comes from that store typically. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how it works. So
Tell
yeah, it
me,
was an interesting thing.
okay, tell me, okay, so you're designing the storefronts for basically the store in New York is the one that informs the creative for all the other stores and in probably
Yeah,
America,
typically
maybe
that's how it works.
international. Tell me about your favorite setup y'all did and tell me about did you learn from that watching other creatives? I can see how it might get a little monotonous with a more traditional brand and setting up a storefront and the look, but how were you watching people get inspired? Like were you able to contribute to some inspiring ideas? Like how did your favorite, kind of look come about? Do you have any memories on that?
I would say, sadly, it was very limited on
Mm,
creative collaboration because it was such a big
got it.
brand.
Mhm,
So you had designers coming in and
mhm,
they wouldn't do it for you, but they would be like, here's what we want. Creative would
mhm,
come from headquarters, and then we
mhm.
would like tweak it based on what actually worked for the store before we sent it off to other stores. So
Yeah.
it was one of those jobs where you're just like, whoo, late nights, like it was fun.
In your 20s, you can do that. You're like, "We're gonna stay till 2 a.m. No big deal. I'll just,
I
like,
mean, yeah, like I needed a job. I was in fashion, but I was doing that. And then I was doing like, I always had side projects. I was styling
Mhm,
and
mhm,
working for other people here and there when I could. So,
mhm.
yeah, it was interesting.
Tell me about why you left New York.
I left New York because I was exhausted.
Mm,
I was like, I'm so tired. And I think I just kind of got burnt out. I was working crazy hours and I wasn't getting paid anything. It was like running your head against a brick wall. And it just kind of, and then I knew all these people who had lived there, who had been
mhm,
there for 7 years in like design and all these things. And they had never gotten a raise in 7 years from living there. And they were like, it's been like this forever. It was like a good note for me because I was like, not that it's not possible, but it was
mhm,
just, do I want to do that? Is that what
mhm,
I'm interested in? And I'm kind of the type of person, I like new challenges. I like to do different stuff all the time. I don't like staying in the same place and doing the same thing. I get really bored. So
mhm,
that's why working with different clients works for me. If I stay working for one person,
mhm,
I can do it for a couple years, but basically after that, I'm like, I got to do something different. I can't help it. My brain just needs change. It was also part of that. It was like, it was just time. It was just time to move
mhm.
on. And it was fun. And I'm so glad I did it when I was younger because I can't imagine, I wouldn't want to do that now probably. Um, yeah, but I did feel really called to move to Nashville. So I think that was also part of it. I really felt like my new direction was outside of New York. So,
Mhm. How do you
yeah.
feel like okay, so you're starting in New York, you're working for Ralph Lauren, which is a little more of a traditional brand. You're implementing other people's creative ideas. You're also probably, I would assume, developing your own creative style perspective, what you like to do. So, what did you get out of that season? Because I feel like as creative people, there's always something to be learned in every part of our journey, right? There's always something, there's
Right.
some nugget that we can pull out and we can see our failures and go, okay, like I messed that up. I could do that different. But there's also these little nuggets that come out that are like arrows pointing us towards where we're headed, I think. So
Yeah.
what are some things you took out of your experience there into your Nashville season that really you feel helped you?
I think struggling is
Mm,
like the best thing for everybody. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's just so true. You have to. You have to experience it a little bit at some
mhm,
point. And sometimes we experience it multiple times, which I wish wasn't the case. I think sometimes you think, especially when you've already struggled, you're like, how am I doing this again? But it's just, it's part of it. It's that refining process. It makes you better at your job. It makes you
mhm,
realize what you're good at, what you're
mhm,
not good at, what you want to handle, what you don't want to handle. To me, it was a good experience because it was hard and it showed me the reality of just what that looked like. And but also like I was around brands and I think it helped my aesthetic. It helped my understanding of how the industry really worked at
mhm,
that level. And
mhm,
so I think when I went into a town like Nashville, I came with a lot more understanding and knowledge than the average person working in fashion there. So it was a lot easier for me to
mhm,
come in and work in fashion in Nashville because
mhm,
I like had a background that was pretty decent. And so it just, if anything, it helped me be a bigger fish in a pond in a city that honestly has never been overly fashion forward. People are very stylish in Nashville, but it's very different. Like New York fashion world is very different than Nashville. I wouldn't exactly like when I think of Nashville, I don't think, oh, fashion. So it's one of those things that like it definitely helped me. It helped me a lot with my position when I came in. I felt more of like an expert, like I had more of an understanding of product, how it worked, what that looked like. And so I do think that helped me with getting jobs and gigs with people when I did move to Nashville. So it definitely helped me.
I think that's beautiful. I think suffering is, like you said, necessary and beneficial
It
because I
is.
think what it does is it breaks down our pride. And I don't know about you, I have struggled with pride my whole life. I have struggled with thinking, what is somebody going to think about me for doing this? Like, will somebody think that this is impressive enough? Even in food styling, like, will somebody look at my client list and think that I'm good enough to handle this? Like, there's can be so much pride involved in our work, you know? But what suffering does is I feel like it breaks that down. And like you said, it gives you this new clarity to go, oh, actually, that doesn't matter as much as I thought. Oh, there are actually people around me on set that may also be struggling. I may not be the only person in this position. My client may be suffering. Oh,
Yeah.
now there's this new worldview of going like, oh, not only am I doing this thing, but people around me are also doing this thing. So how
Hmm.
can I like be aware of that, those needs sort of as well? And then your work goes to a deeper level because you're thinking about so many other things than just how does this work look to someone else?
Yeah.
And I think you are like the embodiment of that, Lauren, because you serve so beautifully with your work, but you also have this carefree, like you mentioned earlier, um, I'm going to do this and I'm confident in doing this. Now, when you moved to Nashville and you were doing styling, I remember that season for you because you were also doing more than wardrobe styling. You were doing so much more. Tell me more about that and how you were growing your, avenues of revenue sort of.
Yeah. I mean, well, I would help you out sometime. I feel like I was not
Yes.
very good at food styling. I was
Oh,
terrible at
you're
food styling,
great.
but that's okay. It was just not my thing. But I was like, I was there and I would do it. And I
Yes.
just feel like I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'll
Okay,
do whatever you
great.
need.
But
Thanks.
you have a natural artistic gift and that translates, you know?
Yeah, so it was like it was definitely fun. It was definitely fun, and I would do occasional shoot. I did a few shoots with
Mhm.
you that were very
Mhm.
interesting, and then
Mhm.
with some other people, I would do some more like prop. I did a lot of prop styling and stuff like that. I worked. I guess I would technically say I worked in the country music industry,
Oh,
and
for sure you worked in the
that
country
was
music.
like 50% of what I did probably.
Yes, so and
And
beautiful forward-thinking work, I
yeah,
feel, different than what was happening.
yeah. At the time, yeah, we did. I did branding and developing and styling for an artist. And then I had a few other artists that I would do like developmental branding work for, things like that,
Mhm.
like independent artists. So that was a whole other world,
What was
actually.
that like for you,
But
Lauren, going from New York to country music world? Was that weird?
it was kind of fun. No, I kind of
Yeah?
liked it. I was like, this is
Okay.
different. Yeah. It was kind of I feel like people were less like people were just so much nicer, you know?
Mhm, mhm,
It was just a nicer group of people. But and then I did styling, I did celebrity styling mainly. And
mhm.
that was a wild experience, but it was so fun. It was so fun.
Yes.
I mean, I worked so hard. I was exhausted. But
Tell me your craziest story from that.
I would go to really cool after parties and hang out with really cool people. And it was fun, but at the end of it, I was just like, was that worth 15 hours? I don't know. I think that's the problem is, and over time, as I get older, and as I get older and older and older, I'm like, how can I make money and not work 15-hour days? Like, how can I make
Yeah.
the most of my time? I'm looking for balance in life always
Mhm,
now. That's like where I am now. But at the
mhm.
time, I was, I don't know, in my late 20s. And so I had the energy and I had the space to do all of that.
Mhm.
Um, it was so fun. I had a blast. I met so many cool people though that way. I hung out with celebrities, got to know them, would go to their homes and dress them, and it was really interesting. So many nice people though,
What is
which
your,
was
like
surprising.
right? I have had the
Hmm.
same encounter in being able to work with several country music can I talk? Several country
Yeah.
music artists in Nashville for cookbooks and various appearance food driven
Yeah.
things. I have been blown away by
So
the
many nice
kindness,
people. Yep,
generosity, and authenticity.
totally.
It has been so beautiful. But going back to your
Yeah.
working with celebrities, I also remember there were quite a few wild stories of things that happened during that season of life. We don't have to share too much, but
I'm
I
trying
do
to
want
think
to
of what they
hear
were.
like some I feel like
I mean,
there were several instances of like clothing not appearing or having to deliver things at the last minute or things not
oh
fitting the
yeah.
novelty
It was
fit,
just
that kind of
oh
thing.
yeah. I mean, I had to like I mean, there were a couple of red carpet events where I was like safety pinning pants to someone and I was like, I really hope those stick all night at your award ceremony. And if you
Mhm.
win an award, I really hope they don't fall down when you go up on stage. I mean, like there were just moments like that. But yes, it was a lot. I mean, it was hard work. It was really hard
Mhm.
work. It's a lot of work and you're
Mhm.
just constantly going. I mean, and when it comes to award ceremony days and things like that, I mean, those are full days, like very full days. Like you're starting at 5, 6 a.m. and you're not done until 2 in the morning sometimes. So if you're working a show or you're working like we would work a lot of the big shows in the
Mhm.
summertime,
Mhm.
the CMA Fest and stuff. And it's a lot of work. You're just living at the stadium pretty much all day. But yeah, it was really fun. I met some really cool people and I don't know, you just kind of figure it all out
How
and
did
I'm
you
still friends with people I've met from that world, so it's cool.
do you have a standout favorite look of something you styled for someone? Like a celebrity look that you created?
Oh, this is kind of a fun one. I don't know if this is my favorite one, but I got to do some it's really cool. I have the sketches actually.
Oh, yeah,
Gosh,
we'll put on the show notes. Or do you
I
wanna go
actually have them right here. I'd have to well, I can get them
Mhm.
real quick. They're not hard.
Okay, okay.
It's really funny because I actually found them. I found them the other day. But I
No.
did these. They're not like good sketches.
Yes, they are. No, yes, they are.
No, they're just like they're not. Like I just sketched some things out for some
Okay,
outfits, but
okay, yep.
we did these words on like white
Oh.
denim. And so I actually
Cool.
hand painted all over these clothings. I hand painted, it took me forever. I hand painted on these clothing items for Florida Georgia Line. And
What words were you hand painting?
it was from their song that they were it was the song that they were debuting or something.
Okay.
It was like during I think it was during the I don't know if it was the Super Bowl, I think maybe. But
Wha
they were doing it from their new bar in Nashville and there were fireworks and then the chain smokers were there. It was like a whole thing. Anyways, I illustrated like all the words on their clothing. I just hand painted all of them, so it took me a really long time. But they just had like their own words like all over their like clothing. And I think I've never been, but I think those clothes are behind glass in their bar somewhere.
No
I
way.
think. Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
go.
we
I've
have to
always wanted to
find that
go and
out.
check. I
Okay, we're
know,
gonna
but I've
go. The
never
next time you're in
gone.
Nashville, we're gonna go.
I don't know if they really are anymore, but someone told me, I want to say their head stylist, Krista, she might have said that that was happening, but I don't know if it actually did. I never looked.
Okay,
But
well, I honestly
that was like a, it wasn't my favorite look, but it was
yeah.
definitely a fun thing to do that I never thought I'd be doing. So,
That's so cool. Okay, well, if I
yeah.
can find photos of it on the internet, I'm sure it's somewhere. I'm gonna
I
put
know.
it in the show
I
notes
have
for
no
this.
idea.
Also, I have no business being in that bar because I'm not cool and I never go anywhere. But I feel like you and I can totally go in, act like we know what we're
Oh, we
doing.
just go in and be like, "Hi, we're looking for clothes on the wall behind glass." Like, yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking for a, mocktail and some clothes on the wall. Thank you.
Yeah, that's literally
Um,
all I'm interested in. Thanks. Yeah.
that's
But
amazing.
yes.
Oh my gosh, Lauren,
Yeah,
you're
that
the
was
coolest.
kind of a random one. But yeah, I mean like it was a good experience. So,
Yeah, and you also so you were doing styling, but then also I feel like your photography started to bloom and your lifestyle styling was blooming. There were a lot of other creative pieces to you that I felt also were
true.
just blossoming. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing some photography. Well, I okay, so because I was a stylist,
Mhm.
when I first moved to Nashville, I actually didn't know how to shoot anything. Like I I had no photography skills. And
What?
so
Good for
my
you.
yeah, no, I had no like I always wanted to learn, but I really didn't know
Mhm,
what I was doing. And
mhm,
so it's funny because my whole idea behind it was, oh, I really want to style stuff, but I
mhm.
can't hire photographers all the
Mm,
time. I don't have the funds. So
mhm.
I'm going to learn how to shoot myself.
Go
So
girl.
I remember when I first moved to Nashville, like 3 months in, I was actually staying at my friend's mom's house when I moved to
Mhm,
Nashville. And so I was staying there for free. I was in Green Hills.
mhm.
And I would just like, have little setups. I would make setups like on my bedroom floor and have props and things. And I'd start taking photos. And that's like how I learned how to use a camera properly, basically.
Mhm, mhm,
And then I got really good at it, and people started hiring me. Like, I'd have friends hire me to do their projects or their jewelry or like portraitures and things like that. And yeah, I had so many people hire me to shoot for them. I would do layouts and things like that. And I think that is how I got really good at more of the prop styling stuff.
mhm,
That's my favorite. So like I love shooting product. I love it. And so I've been doing that forever. Even this last job that I had, like I had a whole photo studio that I had set up and I would shoot product all the time. So it's a very fun creative space to do like flat lays and things like that. But yeah, I don't really do it that much actually, but I still use it occasionally in my work. Like I did some branding the other day and I did the photos for the background to really make it pop. It kind of adds something typically, I think, than just putting logos on solid backgrounds. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started
So tell me
doing all of
how,
that.
okay, because I remember this. So is that when House of Lauren was born? During that time when you
Yeah.
were doing photography and prop
Yeah.
styling there?
Yes. Yes, because
Mhm,
I was like, I don't know, I just had all these gigs going
mhm,
and I started learning like what I was good at, what I wasn't. And so I just started, offering services and just seeing if people like wanted them. Um, and they did, a lot of people did. So I ended up shooting a lot of products for companies. Um, and it was fun. It was really fun. I don't do it as much now, but when I started doing full branding for a lot of people for a very long, yeah, this is a big part of it. But it would
yeah,
be a part of my whole like identity I'd create for people. So I
mhm,
used to do like I would come in to people who had like a coffee shop or whatever, and I'd come in, I'd do all their branding, their
mhm,
socials, and then I'd photograph everything, and then it would just look really cohesive, and put together.
mhm, mhm.
So yeah, it was a thing for a while.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell
Yeah.
me about, okay, so I have so many questions about this part too. You said I started to
Whatever you want to ask me.
I love this about Lauren. She's like, "I'll tell you anything."
Yeah.
I heard you say, "I started to learn what I was good at and what I wasn't good at." So, how do we do that? How do we know, honestly, what we're not good at as a creative person?
Oh, this is a great question. I love this
Yeah.
question. I think it's got a lot of answers to it. I
Okay.
think that first off, a question you have to ask yourself before you ask if you're good at something is, does this light me up? Do I enjoy it?
Mm.
Because if you don't enjoy it, I would say don't do it. And I would say that
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to like, but here's what I'd say: you have to fail. Like you got to try things, and here's how you know if it's working or not. How you know if it's working is if someone hires you for that thing and they want you to do that for them. That's how you know it's obviously working for someone. But I think that there's so many other facets. Like, does it light you up? Do you enjoy it? And I think that like you just have to keep trying new things always. And the reality is you're gonna fail so many times. And that is what makes you really good at what you're doing, though. So I think you master things that you just never really give up on, but also it's such a complicated answer because it's really for everybody. But
Mhm.
I think you know when you're good at something when people want you to do that thing for them. They want to pay you for it. It's something you also really enjoy. And I also feel like you have your own knowingness of that was really good. Like, that's really good work. Like,
Mhm.
I know that didn't suck. Even though I know as artists and creatives, we typically tend to think everything could be better all the time. We're never fully satisfied with our finished product ever.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So I also think that you have to learn that, like, you got to let it go at some point, though. I think that's how you know you're good at something. It also should make you like come alive. It should make you go, oh, I love doing this, or
Mhm.
oh, I love the result of this,
Mhm.
or people are hiring me for this. If people are hiring you over and over again for something, you're probably good at it. And I only say it's like very rare that people pay for things that they don't like. So that's a good key in, I think. But also, do you actually enjoy it? I think that's good too.
I think that's a beautiful way to describe it because like we were talking about letting go of pride, we go internal first, right? We go internal. Do I like doing this? Does this light me up? Does this feel like life to me? So the
Yeah,
ultimate test, the first test is not do people like it? It is do I like it? And I think
absolutely.
sometimes when you come from like faith backgrounds or maybe different backgrounds where you're taught maybe not to pay attention to what's happening inside of me, but to pay more attention to how other people are responding to me, that can
Hmm.
be really challenging. I know that has been a challenge for me, but that internal voice is so important to listen to and to be mindful of. And I know obviously you and I share the same faith. So I'm also listening, like, what do I feel like God is saying about this? Like, is this something
Totally.
where He's opening up doors? And just for me personally, I resonate with that so much because when I first started styling, I was in Birmingham and I was like, okay, here's my technique. I'm going to do everything. So I'm going to do hair, I'm going to do makeup, I'm going to do prop, and I'm going to do food. And this is how I'm going to be. I'm going to be so valuable because I can do all the things. But what I realized was over time was it's interesting how the stress of different things you respond differently. So the stress of food on set or like having something look right or it needs to be hot or it needs to be cold or there's like the ice cream's melting, all that stuff was I was like, yeah, like let's figure it out, let's do it. But the stress on a
Yeah.
wedding day of a bride, show me a picture on Pinterest of someone
You
who had
were
blonde
like,
hair and she had black hair like mine and she was like, "Can we do a wavy bob thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know how the heck to do that." And I feel like I'm having stomach cramps. Like I
no, we
cannot do
cannot do
that.
that.
No, and I don't know how to make a smoky eye with green eyeshadow. That is not in my repertoire. And that really makes me feel like I'm gonna panic. So it's like you said,
Yeah.
it's like intro, and I started to realize, oh, I'm not meant to do hair and make like what the heck. But I have friends who will hopefully get to talk to on this podcast who I would watch them create like they're painting someone's face and they look amazing and they love it and
Yeah.
they're walk off the set and they're best friends with this person. And I feel like I was walking, biting my fingernails, with hives, and so
Yeah.
like you
But
said,
you
you don't
tried.
that's right, but I tried, and that is so
Hmm.
important. So it's paying attention to that internal
Yeah.
situation or,
What you feel about it.
spiritual. Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
then I think the other people response is secondary, like you said, to it.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
going back to that, I have to
Definitely.
because you do so many things, because we're about to wrap, so I have 2 more questions. I wanna ask
Okay.
you, what is
You
your
can ask me
favorite
more and then cut things out if you want. It's fine.
Okay, okay. And if there's anything, Lauren, that you wanna say that has not been said, you say it too. Like, if you're like, "I
Okay.
wish I had talked about this," or "This thing comes to mind," please say it. What is your favorite form of artistic expression?
um, oh, that's so good. It's very
And if you have more
difficult
than
for
one
me to
favorite, that's
say.
okay. If you're like, "I have a top 3," or they all kind of, affect each
Um,
other.
I think one of my favorite things, you know what it is? It just brings me peace. It just makes me feel okay. Painting. It just grounds me. It's my
Mm,
favorite thing. It just
mm,
is. I love it. It's so peaceful. There's something about using your hands, especially when you do graphic work all the time. It's nice to just use your hands and really work on something. I think painting is that for me. It just kind of calms me down.
mm,
Just kind of brings me back to me. I don't know.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
probably painting.
I love that.
So yeah, I know.
That's
I'm
perfect.
trying to do more of it because it really does help me.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
and
yeah.
on that, how do you stay balanced? Because I feel like I've watched you on Instagram. You've talked a lot about mental health. You've talked a lot about
Yeah.
listening to your inner voice, which we've talked about. How do you stay grounded, like as a freelancer, when income comes and goes? Clients coming. What makes you stay centered and grounded and peaceful?
You know, I don't always stay centered and grounded and
Mhm.
peaceful in those
Yeah, we're not
moments.
perfect for sure. Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I have moments where I'm like, ah,
Mhm.
but there has been a lot of uncertainty. It's definitely part of it, obviously, but I think faith is what gets me through that. Knowing that everything's going to be okay and knowing that me worrying isn't helping me at
Mhm.
all. And even scientifically, like I love it. I'm all into like how things work and like how we affect like the way our thinking is and mindset. I've learned so much about mindset lately and how much I think, oh, my mindset's pretty good, but actually it could really use some work. And I think
Mhm.
mindset is something that we don't talk about enough. I think it also sounds like woo-hoo-y to people. And I think a lot of people think, oh, manifest, manifest. And that's not really what I mean when I say that. But it's more of just, I think, having a positive mindset, like assuming the best of situations, like all of that puts you and your brain and your mind into a better place. And if you don't know what's going to happen anyways, I could just worry and stress myself out, or I could be like, it's all going to be okay and it's going to be fine. And eventually it always does work out. So I
Mhm.
think you have to look at your also your past. Like, have I ever not figured this out? No. So I think in those moments where I want to be really emotional about it, I kind of have to be logical about it. And I have to
Mhm.
be like, actually, what's really happening here versus what do I feel? Because our feelings are valid and very important to pay attention to, but also sometimes can deceive the reality of what's happening in our life. You kind of have to just not, you have to kind of like not listen to that sometimes because I think if you did, you'd just be worried all the time, really sensitive to stress. I have health stuff. I have like chronic fatigue sometimes, and stress is like the thing that makes me do that. So
Mhm.
I have to be really mindful about the stress stuff. And I have to really work on constantly making sure I'm not coming from that place and then I'm not coming from a place of striving or overworking or and that feels very natural when you feel like you're drowning and you don't know what's happening. You're like, I got to make something happen. I got to make something happen. But I do find like when you take a little minute, kind of regroup, breathe through it, understand that everything's probably going to be okay. I like to distract myself by doing something like painting that grounds me. It's still
Mhm.
creative, but it's like
Mhm.
what can I if I'm not doing anything right now, like what can I do? And a lot of times I feel like just doing things for me is what helps. Whether that's going on a walk, painting, things that just put me in a better headspace, like everything's
Mhm.
going to be okay. That stuff is what helps me personally.
Is there a concrete mindset you could talk about that you go to? Is there something you tell yourself? Is there like a, scripture you've memorized, or is there something
Yeah.
there that you could share that's helpful?
I feel like for me, I think of scripture for sure. I think about how God talks about the birds that are out there, the flowers, like they don't want for anything. Like he just provides, he takes care of them. If he cares about them like that, then I know that like I'm taken care of. And also, I tell myself this a lot and I don't know why, but I always say, Lauren, have you ever been homeless? No. You're probably not going to be homeless.
Mhm.
And like I'm not like no joke on that because that
Mhm.
is a real thing. But
Mhm.
I've always thought, okay, but have you actually ever been homeless? No.
Mhm.
Which means you've always been provided for. You've always been taken care of. Like you've never ended up with even at the lowest points of my life, I've never been without a home or a
Mhm.
place to live.
Mhm.
And I think that's important, but I also think to add to that is I think this is what also helps is reminding yourself, and this is that mindset thing, reminding yourself of what you do have and
Mhm.
what is good and being thankful for the place that you're at because things change very quickly. And I
Mhm.
think it's an opportunity for us to like press in and lean in, but I also think it's an opportunity for us to come with gratitude for what we have and where we are. Because in reality, I'm even at my worst when I'm like, I don't know what's happening, like, I'm still okay. I still have food in my fridge. I still have a roof over my head. And I think that for some reason, for me, that perspective helps me a lot. Like, it could be worse, you know?
Mhm.
So I think there's just something about all of that. Like those are the things I kind of think about when I'm at a point where I'm like, what am I going to do? You know? That's what I tell myself often.
Yes, no, Lauren, all of that is so beautiful. And I think that gratitude piece for me personally is how actually that is a mindset I go to a lot when I'm dealing with a difficult client or a shoot that has turned out to be a heck of a lot more work than I anticipated. And I'm really tired. Or even when I go from production world, then I'm like, oh man, I've got to go home now and be a mom. Like there's energy output
Yeah.
that's happening at a level where I feel like I'm not capable of operating. Whenever I feel really stretched or overwhelmed, that is something. And I went through a season where I would start praying like, oh, like all about all these things. And I really felt like God would say, can you tell me 10 things you're grateful for?
Oh, I love
And
that.
that act of gratitude would really shift my stress level
Yeah.
and the way that I felt. And then I would start to go, oh, and then I would start to, after the gratitude would come this feeling of like you were saying, if God cares for the birds, then I would start to feel the love again. I would start to feel like, oh, wait, God has provided, and my husband is amazing, and I am grateful for my two wild boys. Like, then you feel, oh, I'm loved. I sense I'm a child of God now. I'm like
Yeah.
able to sense that more through that window of like the gratitude transition. I think that's a game changer. I cannot wait for people to hear you describe that because that's just such a game
Yeah.
changer.
I just think it allows you, I don't know, there's something about those moments allow you to really press in
Mhm.
to to the Lord. And it's
Mhm.
like, I don't know, I think that we see those things as really negative things, but I
Mhm.
think like it doesn't have to be, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I've learned, like trust. Whew, that's been the number one thing I've been learning for the last 6 months. And it is rough because
Mhm.
my flesh and who I am as like I, I'm in control. I know what I'm doing. And it's like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I like
Mhm.
literally, I can't make anything happen. Like, this
Yeah.
is like, I don't sit around and do nothing. Like, you got to
Mhm.
take a step. There were days for me, especially recently. There have been days where I have just been like, I don't even know what to do right now. But I think that there's also moments of rest, and that's okay. And you got to
Mhm.
soak those in because there's hectic times, there's restful times. And I don't think we always understand what we need. But I look back, and even though I feel like things are getting better for me, I even am able to look back now at the last 6 months and be like, that was so hard. But also, like, I know that that was also really good for me.
Mhm.
And I grew so much in the last 6 months. And I would never have grown like that if I hadn't struggled or been in that place like I was. So I think when you can look back and see that, I also think that allows when those future moments do happen and you feel that way, you're like, "Oh, wait, I've seen this before and I know that it's going to be okay and this is a place for me to be able to learn something new."
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's
What a
tough.
beautiful way to say that. When you go through a season of not knowing, instead of freaking out, to see it as an invitation to rest and an invitation to trust. I think that's the total opposite of what we want to do.
Ugh, it is. And you even saying that just makes me go, ugh, because like
Right.
I've just gone through this like
Yeah.
so much. So that feels so real. That's a
Mhm.
100% it. And I'd say I think that's probably what I've learned in the last 6 months right
Mhm.
there.
And
Like that's it, you know?
I feel like you can see what you're learning in your work, Lauren. I feel like the things we create, whether we like it or not, there's a part of ourself that shines right back
Yeah.
at us when we're creating things. And I see that rest in what you do, Lauren. It's like this beautiful, even I was thinking about some of the things I was looking on your website. You have a painting and it's red and blue and it's a graphic print that I think you painted. And
Oh, yeah, they're little illustrated prints. I'm selling them on Etsy.
okay, good. We'll link to that. And when I saw it, it just made me go, I don't know what it was
Mm,
about it, but it made me exhale.
yeah.
And how about that?
That's so interesting, actually. You saying that makes sense to me,
Mm,
because that's exactly like what has been like, that is a product of that. It really
mhm,
is. Like
mm.
that's exactly what that came from.
So
Yeah,
special. That's so
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Friend, okay, I treasure all of this. We're gonna have to have you back on 100% because there's so many things that we could talk about for hours.
Anytime. I
That
know,
I
anytime
love.
though.
Oh, thank you, friend.
Anytime.
Because
Of
I know I'm gonna have
course.
questions that come up after that I'm like, I wish I'd asked that. But I do always like to end the
That's okay.
podcast on this one question because I have noticed in all of the creative, wonderful people that I've talked to on the podcast and that I know, there's this overarching theme in each of their lives of beauty. They carry this gift of beauty and it expresses itself
Yeah.
in all different ways. Just like you are that diamond gem that expresses your, creativity in all different ways. So I would love to ask you, Lauren, what does beauty mean to you? And what does that look like in your life right now?
That's so tough.
Oh, is it tough?
That's
It's
a great,
okay.
no, no, it's such a good question.
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
it
wait,
changes, the answer changes, I feel
say
like.
it one more time again so I can like really think
Yes.
about this.
Okay,
Sorry.
so I would love to hear your heart on, like, what does beauty mean to you, and how are you seeing it express itself in your life or your work? Just whatever you wanna say on it.
Okay. What does beauty mean to me? Ooh, ooh. Um, I think beauty is multifaceted for me. It's it's like the coming together of multiple senses for me.
Mm,
Like it can be something I see, but also something I feel or something I hear or like a moment. Like beauty is just in like these it just like throws itself out in different places. Sometimes for me, I think because of the way my brain thinks, it'll be like the way like five items are sitting next to each other and I'm like, oh, that looks good, or which is so silly, but it is so true. I'll just see something and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good like that. Those are the weird things that I notice and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. It can be people, it can be like the way that they care or love, or like lately, I cry all the time when I hear Cynthia Erivo sing. That's the girl from Wicked. But I've been following her for years. And when she sings, it's heavenly. It's like beautiful. And that's beauty to me. Like even when someone can make you feel that way, beautiful to you, but you also feel the beauty. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's really hard to explain what's beautiful. I don't know why that's so hard.
mm.
I bet people say all kinds of things. Um, that's a tough one though. But I don't know. Sometimes it's for me, it's hearing someone sing something beautiful or it's just seeing something beautiful. I find beauty a lot in right now lately. My life looks very different than it used to because I'm in this like small little town that's, I don't know, it's cute, but that's pretty much it. I find beauty in, I live on the river now. And so I actually find a lot of beauty at night, just sitting out there and just like I can see fish and I can see the birds and the sun, the moon. And I don't know, I'm all about these like really beautiful, quiet experiences now. And to me, that feels really beautiful. I think the stillness of life feels really beautiful to me when you can get that. Mainly because like we live in a world that's just so much. It's like so many.
This is
Y'all, isn't Lauren the best? Oh my gosh, she is absolutely the best. And I just had to pop in here because, as you can see, obviously, after Lauren ended, we had a bit of a technical glitch and I wasn't able to properly outro the episode until Lauren, thank you for being on, for sharing so many nuggets of wisdom like she did. I know I personally had a lot to mull over after this episode, just really thinking through my life as a creative and my own mental well-being and health, and how I could have an outlet to work through stress and challenge and look at my life from sort of that 360-degree view. And then also all the nuggets that Lauren has from all of her life experience and just the powerful creative career she's had. She is a legend, and obviously, one of my favorite people. And so, yeah, just thank you, Lauren. Thank you for being on. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Style to Set. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.